The Match Ball.
Hello there and welcome to the show. We're streaming live on YouTube exclusively for our TSB Plus members. You can watch the show later and listen in your podcast app. The Match Ball is brought to you with Levi Solicitors. Michael Normanton, do your thing.
Is it conveyancing week? Who knows? It's international break anyway, so for me, I'm going to use it to have a bit of time off to think about solicitation services.
Were you going to say soliciting then?
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which is a different thing.
A different thing. Yes. The wills, probate, all that stuff. Get it all sorted out. Get it all sorted out during the break.
It is actually a good time to get your life in order, is the break. A break will probably all be welcome, which we'll get into in just a second or two. 10% discount on the full range of legal services that you can find at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. It's Dan, it's Michael, it's Chris Mack on the match ball, 2-2 at QPR. Go on then. Are you disappointed, happy? How do you feel in the wake of that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can't work out whether that's a good point or not. I suppose a 2-0 down, it's a good point, but a 2-2, it's a bad point. At the moment that it becomes 2-2.
Given the way that the momentum swung in the game, you mean?
Yeah.
But then, following the equaliser, we were still on top, but it didn't feel quite as much like a goal was coming after that.
No, the subs
there
from,
were a few
both sides.
For both teams, there were a few ball bouncing around in the box type moments, weren't there, where you kind of, and you couldn't hardly see because of the stupid brightness of it. But were there any clear-cut chances after the goal?
It didn't feel like it. There was, as you say, there was a few bobbling about, but it probably just shows you how much work you have to do to get back from 2-0. Make that 3-2 is probably just a bridge too far.
If you're on the stream version of it, I pulled the momentum graph up onto the screen, and you can have a look at it there. We massively dominated the second half, but yeah, they had a bit more of it very, very late on, but a lot of it didn't really convert, I don't think, into clear cut.
I very much enjoyed the bit where it was an injury time and we were willing the goal abilities to go forward. Then all of a sudden they were breaking and we were like, oh no. Oh, this is happening instead, is it? Oh shit, no, don't foul him. Because there was a bit where it looked like Dan James was just going to cut across someone and clear his legs out.
Just drag that leg across.
Was it their centre-back then was doing like Zidane spins in the box and stuff?
Jimmy Dunn.
Ridiculous.
There were 3 moments in that where I had made peace with the fact that they were about to score. A good team probably would have.
Weird that I was never nervous going into that one, and I was convinced we were going to win that. And at the end of it, I feel all right. I think because we know we're going to be top going into the international break, regardless of what happens. That point has put us 3 points clear of Sheffield United. It might all bunch up a little bit, but I think just one game at a time. It's the old cliche, but it's all you can do now. We're at that stage of the season where just deal with each round as it comes. And somebody in these two might well drop points. They might not, but we just go again when it comes back to the Swansea game, where again you make us massive favourites for that. So I don't think any need to panic, but it does feel a little bit like dropped points, I think, under the circumstances.
It does a bit, but we have to remember
we were 2 down.
At 2 down, you're very much thinking this is a very typical Leeds at QPR, Leeds in London type of a thing going on here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
it was all a bit familiar.
Yeah. I mean, their opening goal. What's he doing? Like, it's a beautifully weighted pass by Brendan.
Brilliant.
You've got to set absolutely on a plate for him. If it's the other way around, you were praising him, aren't we? We say that's a really lovely weight of touch.
People have said that he can't play those kind of passes, and he proved them wrong.
Yeah.
He can.
On a plate.
Got that assist, didn't he? He got that assist. I mean, it was really, really, really poor, was that? And it facilitated a change at half-time that a number of people have been crying out for. Do you think the half-time change there is an admission by Farke that perhaps he got it wrong? And again, it's always easy to say these things with the aid of hindsight and with the things that unfolded in front of us, because we dominated from the start in that game, and then suddenly we were 1-0 down, and before you knew it, we were 2-0 down. But
it was their first touch in the box, was that goal? Because I looked it up after it went in. I was like, I'm sure they've not even had it a touch near our goal to this point. And then there we are, just gifted it to
them. Just before we get into the Brendy chat, just going to speak to something that annoys you, Michael, which is the time the ball was in play. Thanks to Tyler for recording this one. So of the 6 minutes added on, Tyler counted 2 minutes and 26 that the ball was in play.
Yep. I've made a note of that. It was barely in touch at all because we had a corner. There was a red card in it. They had a free kick, I think, that took ages as well. Just very strange that the refs don't seem to ever add anything on.
Would that extra minute have made any difference?
No, but it would make me feel better because it would be the right thing to do to add it on. and they never ever do. It's like they can't be asked to that point. They're like, oh, I've already said 6. I'm not doing any more, even if I should.
I mean, stoppages are part of the game in additional time, but it always feels like that one team is always trying to run the clock down there.
And 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes out of 6 minutes is a lot.
Just jumping across the pond here, thanks to ML Morgan, who says Mike Grella on the US post-match said in response to the host question in our defence, well, Aronson was playing for QPR today. That is harsh, especially with Milana in attendance. She was there, wasn't she, in London?
Well, I believe so.
Right.
I traced her to a cafe in Notting Hill.
Traced. Fucking hell, what a dangerous man you are.
It's just from Instagram. There's no. Yeah, she's got an air tag in a shoe that she didn't know about, but it's good to keep a track. But yeah, it was not great. No.
Yeah. So going back to the start of that game, it did lend weight to the claim that there should have been some rotation this week. 3 games in 6 days, and although I won't say we looked tired because we started off quite brightly. I thought one of the notes, the first and only note I made ahead of Brendan's assist, is that bright start, crosses, corners, etc. We've settled early.
Well, we were contrasting it with the game there last season, weren't we? Where it started and straight away we were like, oh, this is wrong. This is all bad. There's no structure to it. We can't make any passes, and we did look the better team. Yeah, and then they were 1 up. And then 2 up.
We looked massively startled in that game last year, but I think even at 2-0 today, it might have felt really bad, but they didn't look as frightened as they probably did last time.
I think pulling one back before half time, it completely reframes it. And I think you probably feel like its points dropped on the basis of the second half, particularly because we got it back level so quickly in the second half.
Yeah. Pretty much at most points of that game, we're probably favourites for it, aren't we? I bet even when it goes to 2-1, it's probably people are probably expecting us to go on and win it. And at 1-0, people would still expect us to go on and win it. There's like a 10-minute period in the middle where QPR would have said we're favourites for it. So it is a little bit disappointing. We couldn't quite push on. I didn't know if Farke might make some changes a bit sooner, maybe after when it fizzled out a bit around 70 minutes. Whether I thought he might chuck Joseph on or something.
Had he rolled the dice in his mind by that point, though, by making the change at half time, which did pay off. Nonto coming on for Aronson, so to then turn it around and get it back to 2-2 gives you plenty of scope to get it won in that second half. But like you say, it just sort of fizzled out.
I don't know. Ramazani on for James or Solomon a bit sooner would have made
just
a bit of sense.
A chance to basically impose himself on the game.
Yeah, because he's not getting any time at all, is he?
People will say, well, what did he do today? But he's also been given 10 minutes. And it was 8 minutes the game before and a few minutes the game before that. What's the point in having him?
Yeah, arguably it's going to take you 5 or 10 minutes to get fully up to speed in the game.
Yeah. Particularly a game like that was pretty scrappy. It's not like we're able to just feed him the ball like 3 or 4 times in that and give him a run at a fullback, is it? It was he's feeding on scraps at that point. So Solomon wasn't happy to be taken off, was he?
No.
Proper sulky he was around the pitch.
But he was starting to look a little bit tired. I actually thought when the second goal went in, he looked really, really tired. But then both wingers, their energy seemed to pick up in the second half. Maybe it was that they didn't have to carry the number 10 the whole time. That might have helped.
Yeah, it could be. Not a fine day for Brendan at all, was it, that one?
I thought it was, against Millwall, I thought it was his best game for a while, actually. But then he's followed up with that.
But equally, the game against Millwall, while I agree with you on the one hand, on the other, I wonder what he made in terms of a positive contribution, in terms of being proactive and driving us on towards winning that game.
In fairness, he did get a really nice assist that was onside.
True enough, yeah.
So he's been robbed of part in a really nice goal against Millwall.
My frustration with him is often that he will take the safest possible option and he's a little bit risk averse, and he will spin, drop a shoulder, spin again, drop the shoulder again, and then pass backwards because he's a little bit scared of being progressive with it.
Yeah, and Nonto's first thing you'd note he did was that I suppose he didn't actually probably do a huge amount, but he did come on and straight away play that through ball, didn't he, that leads to the goal.
I thought he was very busy and definitely busy with a little bit more intent and the ability to pull. Like Brent Aronson doesn't pull that pass off. He certainly doesn't do it the first time either. He maybe needs 3 or 4 times to find the range. Do it, and he doesn't get 3 or 4 times. But
I like Jason's assessment of it here in the stream comments. 2 down at QPR, early kickoff, not to mention London, and coming back to draw. It feels better than a point, but not quite a win. Just give us 2 points and say no more. I think that's fine.
I think that seems about fair enough.
Like a bonus point for the comeback.
Yeah.
The truth is, at this point, we don't know how good of a point it is because we're waiting on other games. Burnley and Sheffield United could both lose or draw this weekend, and if no one gains on us and we've got a point, you have to say it's been a great weekend. Because we're at the point of just needing to get rid of these games now.
Yeah.
Just tick them off.
What you feel like basically any dropped points by either of the other two is good? Yeah.
I think
it's hard to see past that.
It's kind of all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
If one of those two drops points, if both of them drop points, absolutely amazing. If one of them does, it's kind of a flat weekend. It's about par.
What I would say was, for anybody who's wobbling a little bit on that, is go back and look at the end of the season, last season for the running, and it was all over the place. Leicester, Ipswich had a massive wobble as well. Obviously, we didn't do particularly well late on, stating the obvious, and all that. So a lot does go on in these closing games, which is why I'm just of a mind to say we just go just one game at a time, get out this weekend, top of the league still, and then it's just the run-in and a more favourable fixture after the break. And I agree. I think like the break is really important at this stage because I'm not saying the players look tired. I thought they looked tired against Millwall, but like you say, just having the momentum swing back in our favour today, when it was a little bit less attritional, they kind of got that extra spring in their step.
Yeah.
I thought.
I think they did look a little bit tired, and we had a bad run in towards the end of last season, partly because we had run the players into the ground, and it does feel like we're doing the same again.
Yeah, possibly.
You know, there's 3 games in a week, and Farke went on and on and on towards the end of last calendar year about having 3 games in a week and how it's having to rotate and stuff like that. And
doesn't come as a surprise though, does it?
He has stopped doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe he will. Maybe after the break we'll see he'll be bold and play Nanto at 10, and you maybe get more than 10 minutes for Ramazani. Maybe not. Who knows?
I mean, I think crucially the international break is coming at a nice time. I know a lot of them are going away, but there's also a decent spine of the team that's staying back at Thorpe Arch. Yeah. There'll be Pirro, there'll be Aronson now because he's not been called up. You get Strauch, you get Rothwell. So there's some of the players who maybe are due a rest are going to get one in this period. So it doesn't feel like it's coming at a bad time. Sometimes international breaks, like the international break last year, came at a bad time, did that.
Yeah.
And it felt like it killed our momentum. Players came back injured and disappointed from having been missed penalties and stuff. So this time around, it feels like fine. I'm quite pleased to have an international break.
Definitely.
Right. I mean, I'm looking at it. The games that are left: 4 home, 4 away. Swansea at home, Luton away, Borough away, Preston, Oxford, Stoke, Bristol, Plymouth. I mean, if you win your 4 home games and draw your away games, that's 96 points. If that's not enough, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think absolutely have to win away at Luton because they are abysmal. So you would maybe hope for 5 wins between.
Do we include them as part of the London hoodoo? Are we going on the Ryanair map of London or the actual map of London?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy.
I mean, how have we done at Watford and Luton over the years?
Update here: Burnley are already winning at Swansea.
Brilliant.
So we can start to ask
5 minutes. Nice.
Yeah, Brownhill scored, and of course they had their the CJ Egan-Riley red card overturned as well, which all looked a bit silly, all of it.
Did they basically argue that it was just a tactical foul because they thought the game was still going on?
Yeah. It wasn't a red, was it?
Well, it was if the game's finished because he's just booted someone off the ball if the game's finished. If the game's going on, it's weird that it's the case. But yeah, if the ball's not in play, you can't just kick someone, which is what he did. But then I think they've been able to say, oh no, he thought it was still going on. So he was kicking him as part of a football match.
Is it not a bit like punching somebody after the bell in the boxing? Like you do know that you hear the whistle, you hear the bell, you know to stop.
So yeah, it was, whatever,
really.
Do you know what? Fuck Burnley. Just do our own job. We'll be all right. All right.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, we got the midfield that we wanted.
Yeah, it didn't work that well, did it?
I don't think it worked badly either, though. As you say, maybe this is just whether just a little bit of tiredness is just starting to creep in.
I think the Aronson energy argument is the same as I was saying about the Gruev defensive solidity. I don't think we've looked any more solid with Gruev in the team compared to today with Rothwell. And maybe, if you went back and watched that with a little bit more of a tactical eye, there are things that you could pick up on and say, well, Gruev would have cleaned that up or this and that. I don't know. I just think Rothwell gave us a little bit more, minus the set pieces.
Yeah, they've gone to shit again, hasn't it? Never mind.
We had a good run, and now it's over.
We've got more
just on set pieces though.
We've had more set piece goals than I expect from Leeds this season. So, we've used up our quota, and that's fine.
I mean, just again to frame this in a slightly more focused fashion, we've had 4 points from the last 2 games, 2 points per game.
True.
We've had 5 points from the last 4 games.
Oh no,
no! Don't you come at me with your stats.
Just fine. Just extend the game period, and eventually you'll be fine.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Should we do it in 9s, 8s?
Yeah. How many games have we played this year?
We've actually got 80 points from the last 38 games.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's pretty
not
good.
bad, is it?
That is
Yeah,
good.
it sounds good, doesn't it? That
Yeah.
actually does sound really good.
Donna can confirm Luton's not in London.
Yeah,
so that's good.
popped the comment on the screen before.
That's good.
I think we're taking that as scientific evidence that everything's going to be all right at Luton. It'd be interesting, given that Kinnear is disappearing off to Everton and we are no longer his problem from July or June, actually. How he will feel about that one being a Luton fan. It's
I think he's going to spike the Red Bull.
maybe bit of a Sophie's Choice moment, I suppose, isn't it? Who do you want to win that one?
He needs to finish the job at Leeds. Come on.
Yeah.
He will do, probably.
Hope so.
Mm.
Idle Matt does like how you say solidity. Chris, if you want to just drop, do you want to drop another one in there just for Idle Matt?
Solidity.
There you
Good.
go.
Okay.
What was that, Michael?
Solidity.
Jesus Christ.
It's that halftime
What ITV drama was that?
the halftime change was a logical thing, wasn't it? But I suppose there was an argument for wingers.
I was going to say there was an argument for hooking him as soon as he laid it off to the player.
But we weren't sure. Maybe he takes off one of the wingers because they'd looked a little bit like subpar in that first half. And actually, did they both see out the vast majority of the 90?
Yeah, Solomon went off about 85 minutes, didn't he?
James didn't go off.
Yeah. I mean, there would have been the other thing we've sometimes done in that situation is take Aronson for Joseph and drop Pirro back, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I thought that could have been an option, but yeah.
But
Never mind.
Yeah, do you think the halftime subs is an admission that he got it wrong?
Well, yeah, and the scoreline. The fact we were 2-0 down as well probably suggests that. I know we had pulled one back before half time, but yeah, it seemed an obvious thing to do, I would say. Because it's not like Aronson was otherwise having a good game.
Yeah.
He'd been basically invisible other than just laying the ball off to them.
There wasn't any suggestion that you would drop Aronson anyway. Like, I think we'd all come to the conclusion that he'll play 46 games and probably every minute where possible.
Well, the comments are just coming through, and he's actually saying that changes were in his mind, and he's kicking himself a bit. So these are thanks to Baron Cross's tweets saying, before the game, this is Farker, before the game, I would never take a draw, even though we do not have a good record here, I am told. In this period of the season, third game in 6 days, 2-0 down, it's a good point. QPR deserved to lead. And then defensive sharpness was not there. Today we showed resilience to fight back into the game. It was good after 20 minutes. We reacted with a good goal from Junior Firpo, even though it was an own goal, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
In the end.
Second own goal in 2 games. Maybe we are getting a few breaks.
Completely on it in the second half. QPR, a really good side at home, a good point on the road. I'm angry with myself because until the early hours, I was thinking about bringing Gruev in. I wanted to take the momentum of Wednesday. Green light from the medical team on all players being ready. Ilya gives us defensive awareness, but I was too greedy and wanted to dominate the game. I was convinced Willie would make this impact. If I had brought Ilya in, I would have opted for Willie from the start, but because I went with our 2 ballers in the pivot, we cannot afford to lose the running of Brendan at 10.
But we did second half, and it was fine.
And yeah, things got a lot better.
So maybe we can. And the thing is, I don't think Tanaka in particular, I think is very good defensively. I know it's not.
I don't think it's. I agree with you. It's not an either or, is it?
It's not. It's not top of his qualities probably, but low key he's very good. He reads the game incredibly well, so he sweeps up a lot of problems. Does Tanaka?
Yeah. Let's just play Nanto in the next game and throw Rothwell and Tanaka in as well. And if it doesn't work against Swansea at home, then yeah, fair enough. Yeah. But
you've got to be brave. You've got to be on the front foot at this stage, particularly in a home game like that. Surely, and it's clearly not. It's not working for Brendan at the minute.
It's been a while, hasn't it? Since he's.
I mean, and
really
the past, we've not really spoke, have we, about the layoff that he attempted, which was absolutely suicidal in that position, without properly looking. I know he had 2 players close to him, but to do that, to underhit that pass like that, it's unforgivable.
See as well with Nanto and Aronson. If you look at the very basic numbers, so Aronson has 10 goal involvements, 8 goals, 2 assists in nearly 3,000 minutes. And Nanto, for having had an under par season, has the same amount, 5 goals, 5 assists in almost half the minutes.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't trust him quite as much, or favours Aronson's running over his lack of end product.
Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it? Because, well, it's all on the line.
I suppose the thing of playing, like, Pirro isn't a very good presser, is he? I suppose. I guess maybe if you had a prime Bamford who can also provide some pressing from the front, maybe you don't need Aronson as much. But if now we've settled on Pirro as the main striker, do we then need
more legs behind him?
Need more of a presser behind him. But I think Nonso can press. Nonso can run around.
Yeah.
Although he does seem to get tired a bit earlier. But then if he's tired, you can take him off.
But last year we played with Somerville, James and Rudder. And you wouldn't have considered Somerville or Rudder to be exceptional pressers.
No.
Although we had
Georgie did put in a fair bit of work.
We did have the two crabs in midfield, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is obviously slightly different now, but I don't know, just give it a go.
Be brave.
Yeah.
As Gordon Strachan was reported as saying, I think it was in the video, maybe Race for the Title, Fortune Favours the Brave. Fortune Favours the Brave. It's the post-match interview that he does there, I think, maybe in the dressing room at Bournemouth or wherever it might be. But yeah, we just need to go out there and just do this and don't be fearful of losing. Yeah. I'm not convinced that Gurev would have added much more there, even if you had changed it.
No, I don't think so.
But all managers have blind spots, don't they? We know that. They all have blind spots.
But he has himself, what is it, a realistic pessimist he described himself as? So
coward?
We know that Farke is incredibly conservative when it comes to making changes or being more ambitious or attacking. So you kind of have to expect it, but on his head be it if it doesn't work out. But he, to be fair, he did pick Rothwell again today. I don't think many people expected him to.
Well, no, because he basically said he was going to be injured, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was the way he almost said it after midweek. He was saying that his knee's knackered. But
that he picked him and what he was saying about, wait until the last minute obviously means that he sees Rothwell as his first choice midfielder. So,
anything else from the game then? Any threads you want to pick on particularly in any notes you've made? My notes kind of dried up second half because we knew which way it was going.
Generally, I think defensively we weren't great today, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'd have to see certain moments of it back.
Was it the first goal where we had absolutely nobody out in our left back position? Like Solomon was out defending against two. The second one was
they'd been taking these long throws, which also caused us quite a lot of problems. But they took that one quickly, and it just completely caught us out of shape. And by the time Cook has got into the box, there's Roden and Strauch kind of a line further back, and he's just come in, and there's absolutely no one near him. So that's pretty sloppy. Whose man you would say that is at that point? I don't know. I think we were probably getting the defence set up for one of our centre backs to mark him, and then they take it quickly, and it just throws it all out. But you've got to be ready for these things.
It's no coincidence, Chris, surely that the defensive shape has lacked a little bit since Ampadu's been out.
Oh, 100%. Like that's one of the things I've got written down. Like I really hope he's back.
Yeah.
After the break, we will need him in those last 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I think so as well. It just gives us a nice competitor out on the pitch as well, because I think sometimes we can be a little bit soft, which is maybe harsh on the players that are out there. But I know Ampadu's just got something. He's got a bit of authority about him as Ampadu.
Yeah, and it is going to be a scrap from here on in. Every game, there's going to be, like if you look back to the Middlesbrough game towards the end of last season,
the 4-3.
Sometimes it's just going to be chaos, and you need someone who's up for the scrap, which suits Ampadu, and I think also suits Nonto a little bit more too. He seems to thrive in games like that.
Yeah, and you wonder, does it suit the very sort of the calm-headed approach that Farke tends to have, where the control evaporates a little bit? I think that's where the doubts about where it heads and the anxiety comes from, because we didn't rise to the challenge last year, I don't think.
No.
Whereas you hope this year that we might be made of slightly sterner stuff.
You would hope so. I do think we probably lose that game last season anyway.
Yeah,
and we've drawn it. So maybe next year we can go up with winning it.
I mean, Leslie makes a good point. This is
you completely overlook the fact we're still in this division there, Dan. Sorry.
No, I say it's a very self-evident point, but this is the Champo, as Leslie says. It can be a bit like that.
Yeah,
at times.
And it's a stressful league for everyone who's up there or down there at this point. There's going to be a lot of to and fro-in games. Like we saw Sheffield United, blowing it in the last minute the other night, and there'll be some more of that.
Yeah,
both ways.
Yeah. Red card late on. Yep.
Yeah.
Nasty tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah. Bit pointless.
I don't think he actually meant to catch him as he did. I think he meant to just trip him up, but in the end, it was like a sort of a studs up calf rake, wasn't it? So yeah, I can't complain, can he?
No,
it made no difference.
He was probably looking for the good yellow to stop the momentum of the attack.
Like I said, I think he was trying to just trip him up, and in James getting away from him, he ended up getting a bit more of. He probably just meant to hook his shin a little bit as he went past him, but
his foot is at calf height as well, so he's obviously he's a winger, isn't he? Because he's obviously not used to making slide tackles. Unlike that freak they had up front, he just kept flying into challenges at every opportunity,
and then screaming whenever there were at least 2 occasions he did a big scream when someone put a tackle.
That almost seemed to be a response to him getting booked. Was he got booked for the shirt pull on? Was it Pascal Rothwell? Wasn't it? Maybe
it was a really, really obvious shirt pull.
Yeah.
That he somehow ended up right in the ref's face as well, because the ref was kind of in the middle of it, and then he stood up and was yelling in the ref's face.
Yeah, but to be fair, you got to credit him for turning up and having a performance like that after working the doors until 4 a.m. last night.
Yeah, it didn't look very much like a footballer, did he?
No, but it's amazing how sometimes just chucking the ball at the head of a player like that can cause chaos for us. Well, I think with this sort of, we'd like to think of ourselves as this kind of refined footballing unit. That's all a little beneath us is the scrap.
Just a big old gorilla up front.
Big fucking lump. Just big Champo lump.
Get it towards him and let him bounce people around.
Yeah.
We were calling him Nikolai Valiev at one point.
Yeah, I feel like he's the sort of player who scores against us. Maybe I'm just, I've got bad memories of John Parkin and Zigic and just like physical freaks scoring goals against Leeds despite being not very good footballers.
So if Burnley do win this one today, that would leave them 2 points behind us. Obviously, we don't know what Sheffield United are going to do tomorrow just yet. But it is tight up there. But are you happy going into the break, top of the league, even if it is only on goal difference? Or do you think we should have stretched it out further? Or are you just happy to take it as it lies now?
It depends which week you ask, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'd like to not be within touching distance of the teams below us.
Yeah. But ideally, yeah. If you look at the league, the way the league, even if Sheffield United and Burnley win, the league table now is okay versus how I felt before the midweek games when they both dropped points and we won. That's just the nature of it, isn't it? Things are gonna swing about.
Yeah, I mean the biggest factor, the only thing we really need to worry about is our destiny is in our own hands. And as long as it remains that way, then we've got nothing to complain about.
I don't particularly want to get to the point where we're pinning everything on the fact they've still got to play each other.
But it's still hugely significant, mate.
It is, but I don't want it to be like, oh, we are still technically fine because they play each other. Like, I want a bit more padding than that, is what I'm saying.
Well, let's put it this way. If it's as bunched up as it could be as this week finishes, and they're playing each other, it could be the thing that gets us promoted, because it's taking a third of the points off the table for one team if one of them wins, or 2 points for both. It's statistically, at least, it's huge. Huge. It will see one of them hugely damaged potentially at the most crucial time of the season, which is why we're probably still massively favourites with the bookies. And looking at the running, you have to understand why, don't you? You can see why.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to talk us into this about why it's probably going to happen, but
yeah, the odds will be reached by a run through of probable outcomes of games, and therefore we are the favourites. There's not any sort of science to it beyond that. There's no mystery to it. It's like it's just someone plugging some numbers into a computer and going, this is the most likely outcome of this game and this game and this game and this game, and therefore the table is likely to be this.
I do agree. I'll be raging if we get to the last couple of games and we're going, oh well, those two still have to play each other, so we might still be top after that. Like this should be in our hands. It is still in our hands. It should be.
Or the alternative way to look at it is, if we are 3 points in front at that point, it's terrific that they're playing each other.
3 points in front.
Yeah.
Is still in front though.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be
goal difference.
Yeah. That we're kind of reliant on holding on to second place because of the fact that they play each other. That's my fear I have at that point, I suppose.
Right. It looks like Burnley are 2-0 up, by the way.
Oh, good.
Great.
So that one is over because they ain't conceding a lot. But I think it's an interesting time now. Let's examine your optimism scale, Michael, because it's in the balance now, whereas it felt like it was there for us to just gently romp home a few weeks ago, whereas it's all bunched up a little bit, which in fairness, you said some weeks ago it would. There's times when it'll bunch up, there's times when it'll stretch out.
Yep.
How are you feeling about it?
I feel bunched up.
Right.
I feel like I need to get my pants out of my arse. It's that kind of an uncomfortable bunching.
A bit swampy.
At the moment, yeah. It's all a bit, not quite comfortable. Is that enough for you?
I mean, if you want to go
paint
more,
a vivid picture.
If you want to go more graphic,
it's probably fine. Is it?
I suspect so.
Yeah, we're still top. I would have preferred if Sheffield United won tomorrow and Burnley didn't win today, but
just cut one adrift.
It's Jadon Anthony who scored as well, the turncoat bastard.
Well,
I mean, this bodes well for us facing Swansea after the break. Let's face it. I'm happy going into the break. Yeah,
does it? Yeah,
I'm happy going into the break, being top, and I'm happy knowing that we've got Swansea coming out the other side at home at Ellen Road.
It is a fairly soft game to get back into, you have to say.
Yeah.
Swansea still have that manager who insists on playing on the halfway line.
No, he got booted.
Damn it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember that. Who's in charge now then?
Some other chump.
A former Leeds United left back.
Carl Dickinson?
Nope.
Tony Capaldi?
Nope.
Why do I not know this?
He was quite often injured.
Adam Drury?
No.
Am I getting close? Danny Pugh? No. Go on, you have to tell me.
Alan Sheehan.
Yes.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. Sunderland are losing anyway.
Wow.
Really?
So there's that. They're losing to Watford. Although I have to admit, they've basically, sorry, is it Watford they're playing? I have to admit they've escaped my thinking. They're Coventry, I meant. Losing to Coventry.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's because I had Watford in front of me, so my eyes saw the word Watford, and it came out of my mouth.
Fair enough.
But I think we just got to hold our nerves, haven't we? Surely, no?
Yes. We've not got asked for man of the match today.
Go on then. We're trying to have a look at the ratings. Actually, we've not really delved much into the stats or the ratings.
Can't really see those on the screen in front.
Thankfully, you have a computer in front of you.
It looks like Bogle's green. I was going to say Bogle.
I would say Bogle. Well, he had a hand in both goals, even though he didn't quite tap it in because he might have been flagged offside, but wasn't.
This does only show the starting 11, though.
Yeah.
And Bogle did get his...
I don't think Ramazan even got a rating, to be honest.
Bogle got his yellow card as well. Now he's allowed them again.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't actually remember that. What was it for?
It was for giving off with the red card.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't even spot that.
No, I didn't either.
To be perfectly honest, yeah. So Solomon and Bogle are the only two who have scored over 7 in the starting lineup. Solomon 7.1 and Bogle 7.5. Obviously, the goal itself will drag that one up. But then again, nobody really on the other team went much beyond 7 either.
It reflects the kind of game it felt like, does that? Where everyone was
quite attritional.
Everyone was a bit under par for us, I thought. Just a bit. Not spectacular, other than Aronson, not spectacularly so. It's just, it didn't quite click. Defence wasn't exactly tight.
Yeah, I think Bogle deserved, on top of the goal, he definitely deserved an assist for some of those crosses. Very, very dangerous. Even an own goal assist.
Yeah,
for some of those that were going in. But
and it was a good finish too, because he could have snatched at that, but he waited just half a second for it and just put it in the corner.
Yeah, it was good. Finish.
It was a good finish. I know you expect to score from there, but it's easy to see the ball and just try and crash it in to anywhere, whereas actually to pick the spot in the far corner was quite composed.
I think given what happened there last season, which was the falling apart, and it was that game that promoted Leicester, Lee asks, just to be clear, we're not falling apart then, right?
If we are, we're doing it slowly.
Yeah. This is not a falling apart. A falling apart is sudden and spectacular, I think, where Leeds are concerned. So there's time yet.
It's certainly not full clown car, wheels popping off.
Doors on the...
Doors coming out, bonnet flying into the air.
Pork in the slow cooker.
Yes.
It's a more gradual chugging to a halt if it's happening.
Yeah. Shout out to the away end for giving Jack Colback some grief for being ginger. I like that.
Slagging
off
your people.
I think you're more strawberry blonde though than Colback is like
so ginger it hurts.
Beacon ginger, yeah. That was a good chant. Yeah. You ginger bastard, get out of the sun. Yeah, which is, to be fair, apart from the slightly sinister, threatening undertone, it's good advice.
It is. I hope he has sun cream on.
Yeah, factor
50 plus
500. Yeah. We'll wrap up the match ball there, members. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. Check out your audio version, and we will do you some extra time where we sort of debrief the show and just wind down. A bit of bonus chat for you. Membership can be found at thesquareball.net/plus. We're going to speak to Baron Cross at the start of next week when he gets back from London and find out what he made of it all and the tone in the press conference and how we all feel heading into the international break as well. Usual nonsense through the week too. We'll see you in a bit.
The Match Ball.